Yeah.
You don't
You
know.
can watch
All of them were- I can't remember if it was like 16 or 17 of them. There's only about 24 in there.
Oh, yeah. The public hearing tentatively, that I was wondering if you wanted to schedule it for like July 23rd for the vacate. I don't know why that wouldn't work, or, yeah, look at your schedule, Lynn, because I know you're gone. I have you gone on 16th, or the week of the 6th,
Yeah. So
yeah, the 13th, I guess it is.
I should be back like. I guess that was working out.
Okay,
July 23rd.
23rd at 11:05. We can do the public hearing then.
All right. Good morning. Hi, Austin. Well, come on up and give us your budget request.
You can do that, please.
All right, so in front of you should be other information, our budget, and some other factual information for you all to look over, go over as you're deciding on budgets. We are asking for 80,000 this year, which is the same that was given last year to us. We're not asking for an up and down or anything like that, just kind of being stable. As far as the letter document in front of you, it kind of goes over a little bit of some of the things that we've had gone on over the year. Kind of some highlights is, for the first time since COVID, our Pioneer Camp, we've actually had people on our waiting list, which has been really great to see. We've kind of struggled a little bit with that. We've changed our marketing strategies on that. We had a really, really good group of kids the last 2 weeks for Pioneer Camp, and they learned a lot of different things and information about what it was like to travel from the east to Kansas to be able to settle in this area. We also did a special 250th anniversary Plains, Trains, and Cowboys. We held that in partnership with Old Applingtown and Smoky Valley Railroad. So we are trying to reach out and work with our other local community areas. Of course, we also still work with all the different museums in the county. We try to meet as often as we can together to kind of come up with some marketing strategies, or if somebody's having an issue, we try to help each other out that way as far as the rest of the museums. As far as you guys, we did, and it's highlighted in your notes, we did acquire the one-room schoolhouse records. There's 100 plus, of course, it was in the county, and they were all over the Register of Deeds, and about 2 pickup loads later, we had it all back over to our archives, and we're currently working on getting those inventoried in, so that way those records can be there. Of course, we're working on grants. Probably one of the grants this year, we won't have to do anything as far as for our historic classes on having people charge for that, because Capital Federal gave us $1,700. So that way we can do all of our historic classes there in Heritage Hall without charging anybody a dime. So there's no, normally we have to make a small fee or small charge just to kind of, A, keep the lights on, but B, there's normally something involved with it that they have to pay for. So this year, some major repairs that we've done. We'll be repairing the Lopeland cabin. It was set there in '84, and the foundation is starting to show its wear, and same with the chinking in it, so we'll have to work on that. We're just about finished up at the blacksmith shop. It is not an original building. The equipment inside is an original building from original equipment from the Carlton blacksmith shop. The building was in disrepair as far as the frontage was. It was made out of some particle board on the front. We took that all off, we resheeted it, and retinned it, so that way it will last us another 30, 40 years. So we've also went through this winter and we've changed out almost, I think we've got all of our lights now changed out to LED. We're working with Evergy right now. They have a program where if you change over to LED, they'll give you some money to help with that. So they're helping us with the changeover on that. The things that are going to go up, City of Abilene sewer and water is going to go up. So we're going to be facing that a little bit. And then we are currently going out and seeking bids for insurance. So those are probably the two biggest things that will go up for us this year. Do you all have any questions for me?
So what are your hours out there? And is that, what relationship does that have to do with your revenue?
So our hours in the summertime is Wednesday through Sunday. Basically, Wednesday through Saturday, we're 10 to 5, and Sunday, we're 1 to 5. In the winter hours, and this starts around November, and we kind of kick back up in April, we're Tuesday through Friday. So, and of course, the winter time, if we have any inside projects that we got to do, generally January, we may take a couple weeks off there to try to finish any of those inside projects.
No, it used to be open more hours than that.
We used
So
to be.
what was kind of your,
Part of it is we were open 7 days a week. We had the volunteers to help support that 7 days a week. Right now, we're struggling to keep those 5 days going. We have a run of about 10 or 15 people that'll work that front desk. And of course, one of the 3 staff members have to be there at all times as well in case there's a situation or problem that comes up. Excuse me, that we have to take care of. So we've been asking our membership if they're interested in helping the front desk. We've been reaching out to people, see if there's anybody that's interested in helping. If we could get it to where we had about a list of 20 people, 25 people, we could probably open the 7 days a week. But at this point, till we get the volunteer base, we can't do that.
So, I guess in 25, you actually had a loss.
Yep.
Then you're calculating no loss for this year. Okay.
That's another thing that's been kind of interesting this year, and last year's the same way. Or May has been way down on tourists. Now, that being said, we have what we call Harvest Host, which is people that have campers and they want to find a unique place to camp at. We have 2 spots there that they camp at overnight. That has actually gone up dramatically from last year. We had 23 stay last year, and we're at 25 already this year. So the people that are camping are actually coming to our museum and staying. We try to ask periodically how they're staying, if they're staying in the hotels or whatnot. A lot of people are. The migration out of California, I think it's calmed down. We haven't heard very many California. It was kind of our 3rd, 4th there for the last 2 or 3 years as far as states out of Kansas that have visited us, but that seemed to be waning.
and you get a little revenue off of that?
Yeah.
Which is,
Well,
I mean, you should, you need to,
The idea is with Harvest Host is that they pay a fee and the Harvest Host vets us to make sure we're a good spot to stay, which they did that 3 years ago with us. The idea is that they'll come in and spend X amount of dollars with us, whether it's admission fees, they buying something in the gift shop, or they can just outright just make a quick donation if they need to get onto the next spot. So it's kind of how they do it.
okay. And the tractor, toy tractor display, is that
It is officially.
created some traffic and?
It is creating some traffic. Right now, we're working on a campaign. We got a grant from the Community Foundation for $2,500 to work the social media side of things. And so we're trying to work with Facebook and Google and Instagram and some other places. We're trying to target where all the toy tractor shows are throughout the United States and try to hit those so that way they know that, hey, there's a new place to come in that if you want to look at some toy tractors. So. And we've had people, when we first opened there, we had people from Texas, from Oklahoma, from Nebraska come down just to see it specifically. So it is bringing some people up.
Any other questions, commissioners?
We feel you're paying us for these certain costs you can't control, and
Yep.
it takes a lot of money to operate, but you guys bring in a lot of people to the community, and we appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that we have done, and this was done after, some issues we had in the past, if you notice, there's 2 CDs on the 3rd page. So if we have to dig into those, that's what that's there for. It's for operating costs, but we hope we don't have to.
So even with your CD income and your money market, you're still running at a budget shortfall?
Because the other thing you may not be seeing in there, we also manage Jeff Code. And so there's some funds that we get from Jeff Code that we have to use to keep Jeff Code Museum going.
Gotcha. Okay. Very well put together budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Hope you have a great day.
You guys too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So you can't see here yet.
Start with Marcia here.
Okay.
It's gonna be very lengthy. So,
Very lengthy.
Gonna be here a while.
Now you know that, Marcus. So.
This is,
I don't know, I think if they're doing some backups on the servers, it uses,
slow down.
yeah.
Okay, so
Just hit that, got better. Yep.
not asking for any, there's no change from last year. So dues and membership, keeping that at $500. I have an annual SHRM membership fee, and then the local Kansas County's Human Resources Association that I'm a member of, that's included in there. Marcus will expand on this, but we're going to move the training line item over into the administration department, have the four of us all in the same training line item there. So actually reducing it by $3,500. Okay, and then down to employee testing, keeping that the same. That's both the pre-work drug screen and the pre-work physical tests, fitness for duty tests, in-service expenses that we use that for the food, and if there's any speaker fees for the staff development day in October. And then the rest of that is part of personnel. So do you have any questions for me?
I don't think right now. I think we will later.
Yeah, I heard.
We're still talking about medical probably.
Yes, I will stick around.
Thank you.
I'll probably slide up here, just follow up for we'll get a chance even after that. I was gonna talk to you guys. I'll go over the budget. So technically our finance, it's actually the budget is what the department is, just the budget. So but that's really the finance, kind of basically where I operate out of. I only have the telephone and internet is the only line item there. That's basically the work cell phone that ends up coming to around $500 a year. Outside of that, one reason I'm going to go into administration after this, but HR, payroll, budget, all of us are really under administration. We operate a lot of our operating budget really flows through administration. So for accounting purposes, I was going to recommend that we actually consolidate HR, payroll, and budget all into admin. And so I'll run through the admin budget first, and we can keep them separated. It doesn't really matter that much, but sometimes when there's only a couple operating things out of it, it doesn't seem to make that much sense. So I think just efficiently, it would make more sense for us to be able to account for it all in one place. I usually use all of my training comes out of the admin budget. Office supplies comes out of the admin budget, but then for some reason, we have my cell phone under the budget.
When we moved to CIC, we set up separate departments, and that's why that came about like that. But I think it makes a lot of sense to.
It would just clean it up a little bit from our standpoint. And I'll touch on admin first, and then we can go into what the overall would look like if we were to consolidate those three budgets. So the administration budget, what we've got on we have some health and dental withholding. The administration a lot of times encompasses a lot of the overall billing for the entire courthouse. So there's some things that we just absorb as the administration office. We have the legal and indigent defense. That is one that we're looking at about a $30,000 cut for 2027. And looking at our numbers so far, this includes things like your tax sale. It has the indigent defense contracts that are in there, and although those have gone up, we're actually seeing a little bit of a decrease in some of our outside legal fees for this year so far. I think a lot of that has come with now with Aaron Martin on board. He's been able to handle a lot of our outside legal that we've needed through his office, because they actually have some extra professionals in there that can help with a variety of topics. So that's been beneficial to the county so far. So we're looking at about a $30,000 cut there. We'll leave the cremation, burial for unclaimed. Those are the types of things that fall into admin that you just wouldn't think of, but we still need to have some money set aside there just in case one comes in for an unclaimed body, and that's just at $1,000. Vehicle maintenance, we're leaving about the same, although we're switching over to the enterprise fleet management. We haven't switched out all vehicles yet, so the admin vehicle, the Tahoe, under the county administration is still in service as the older ones. It just requires a little bit more maintenance at this time. Building maintenance, that's always been a question mark right now. We spent about $113,000 last year. I'm actually anticipating that we'll be able to keep that close to about $75,000 this year and $75,000 in 2027, as we've been able to spread out those costs with the jail. The jail took on a lot of our plumbing expenditures. Our inmates a lot of times will do things that are basically out of our control that cause some significant plumbing issues. So we just have a regular, almost on-call plumber for the jail, it seems like, because of issues that reoccur. Right now, on dues, memberships, and subscriptions, we're going to drop that by $1,000. That covers your annual plat book, the North Central Regional Planning Commission annual cost is $3,500. KAC, we pay $5,500 to be a member for KAC. Also, the NAC is $500, and we have an Amazon business account that costs us about $800 a year. Advertising, we have spread out a lot of our advertising to more of this department specifically, and so that's come down significantly. So I'm going to cut that by about $4,000, which is about 61%. We'll move past animal control. I'm going to keep it $3,500. That one's tough to really gauge, but last year we were over that by a couple thousand. But I think from what we're trending with this year, I think we'll be able to hopefully bring that back down. But it's kind of, you just never know year to year what you're going to end up with on animal control.
Those are fees where if we, someone gets in a wreck or arrested or something, we take them to the animal.
House them, yeah.
Our contract services, last year we did have some additional expenditures as we were setting up our new website. There was some first upfront costs to that, so that came to about $33,000 last year. I'm anticipating that we'll be able to bring that back down to about $20,000 for 2027 and 2026. So we're going to leave that at $20,000. That covers our Tyler Technology at $11,000, Express Evaluations for $3,700. And those are two of the major expenditures, at least. Got an active hallway today. Travel, training, and registration. We got that for $6,500. The reason that is a little bit higher is because we actually pulled what you just saw in Marcia's budget at the $3,500. We did remove that from our budget and move that into administration just to consolidate those expenditures. So that's where the increase came from there. We lowered postage down. We're hoping, I've been in contact with Leah about more of our ACH payments. We're hoping to be able to process more of those and eliminate checks and things we do right now. So we're going to try to work on that in the future, just for more efficiency processes. Telephone and internet came down by $2,000. Utilities, once again, we're going to leave that flat at $200,000. We could potentially cut it another $10,000 off of that if we were looking for some savings as the budget, as we move further with the budget. But for now, that's another one we don't really have any control over is our utilities, and that's, I think we're gonna see an increase, just like Austin spoke about the water and sewer from the city. And then we always have your gas and electrical as well. Also, trash services went up this year. Forward with that. Outside of that, the office supplies, we were able to trim that back down by about 12,500 every year. We kind of slimmed that down a little bit as the offices are doing a little more ordering themselves, and it's not being centralized as much through administration. The miscellaneous contractual, I did want to talk about that. That is actually, although it says miscellaneous contractual, there's probably a better way to describe that one. This is typically where any of the expenditures that come to the commission throughout the year and are requested from outside organizations or someone that wasn't budgeted, or that has, like, for instance, in 2026, the $30,000 that's been spent out of that line item, that's just really at the commission discretion. That was for the 250th anniversary celebration for the grants that we put out. So those are the types of expenditures that come out of there. So we have $100,000 budgeted in that. We could look at that line item a little differently if you wanted to, but that's something I feel like every year, there's always gonna be something that's gonna come for you that we're not thinking of a year and a half ahead of time. So we just want to make sure that we have something set aside if someone were to come and request funds from the commission. But that is a line that we could potentially pull some funding out from if you wanted to consider that. Moving on to page 3, not a lot of changes here. This is when we start to get into more of the personnel side of things. I did cut another $3,000 off of the small office and computer equipment as we replaced most of our computers and printers and admin in the last couple of years. I don't see or foresee a couple of much increase coming up on those. So overall, admin is down in operations by about $48,250, or just a little over 3% for administration. And talking, if we were to consolidate these budgets, the way that the difference would be for administration, it would basically make the overall cut between budget, HR, and administration a cut of about $51,750. They change the operational budget in administration from $1,321,100 to $1,269,350, which is that difference of about $51,750. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you want us, do you guys want to vote on that today? Consolidating those departments? The budgets at least?
I don't, does it require a vote?
Yeah, that'd be my
It
question.
doesn't require a vote. It's just
I
an-
guess if we had some dissent on it, wanted to do an option, but I'm comfortable what he's doing.
It's just an accounting piece.
We'll need to
that we have
put-
tracking in, so.
And probably the auditors would probably put a footnote or something in there that this was from the previous year has been transferred.
Yeah.
So it just shows the, of it.
Yeah, because they'll, and I would send a message to the auditor just to let them know, because it would show, basically, it would look like a significant, or you'd have 0 in budget, because you'd still have to list it on the budget, and their budget for 2027 would be zeroed, and then administration, even though actually we're still having, would show the difference. And once we add in the personnel numbers in that, there could be a slight difference of that 51,000, but I think it's still be pretty close to that.
I mean, I guess we know it, but we need to kind of be cautious because it gives you a sense as we look at some of the budgets, this department's cut 2% and this one's more or less or whatever, but the cuts, some of those cuts are going to show up on another part of the ledger, so.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to, that's why I wanted to bring it all separately today before I consolidated that to show you, because I wanted to make sure that you saw it at least all separated first before we tried to make that.
Are we still kind of on the pathway though, that there'll be a budget reduction this year?
Oh, man.
To a certain degree? No,
No.
That is the goal. I will tell you right now.
it's a goal, but I mean,
He's still working on it.
in my early projections right now, we've got work to do and we're still plugging through that. We're just getting through our personnel. We just had the assessed valuation thing in last week, which did come with about a 3% increase. If you think of that from where we're at mill levy last year, if you kept your mill levy flat, due to the increase in assessed valuation, that would bring in an additional $465,000 for 2027. If you aim to be revenue neutral or below, then that you won't take on that additional cost anyway.
Right.
Right now, when I do my initial numbers with everything on the state form, we've got work to do. We're over the mill levy from last year right now, but that's how we always start. And so I don't want to put that out to the public of concern, because our goal is still to come in with a cut. And I always have to peel myself off the ceiling when I look at those first numbers. And we dig back into the 2026 projections. We work on everything we can, and then we try to get the numbers to you as low as possible. So I'm hoping next week that we'll be able to come to you with a little bit of first glance at the overall true budget and where we're sitting, and then get some real direction on what we can do over the next couple of weeks to help work that through.
And that was kind of a little bit of a challenge. I know I had people mention last year and so on, okay, it's great that you've had, or it's great, the revenue neutral rate, you didn't even have to put that out there that you were below us as the county was concerned.
Mhm.
And then the real challenge, well, it's not going to just spike back up the next year to offset that. So I think there is kind of an expectation that that was a direction that we would continue to.
And we are
That's good on it.
I will say it's getting more challenging. We are actually down since ending last year. We were down 12% in the mill levy since 2022. So we were at 56.891 mills in 2022. Last year we ended up with a 50.156, which was a 12% cut in those last 4 years. And I can say that every year these
Not
continue to work
sustainable.
at, it gets very challenging without making some real overall changes to how we provide services. So it's getting challenging, and I will say this is my first glance here. I have been digging for a little bit, and I'm still digging, and we're going to work on what we can do to make it as effective as possible. But it's a challenge.
It is a challenge, and I've got a couple of things that I wanted to visit with you about today, that there are expenses that we were not anticipating that will be coming up, and we've got Cobb Valley going out preparing bid packages to clear debris off of Three River bridges because of the storms that came through.
Mhm.
And that, we have no idea what that is going to be. It could be 200,000, it could be 100,000, we don't know. And that's not money that we were anticipating spending. And it's also a year for the underwater bridge inspections, which we're required to do. And that's a minimum $20,000 cost.
Mhm.
So that was budgeted in, but not the clearing of the debris that has got to be done. So it's just little things like that. So they're not little, but.
And I was over at Salina a couple of times this past week, and what they received as far as a storm, I mean, there's huge trees that are uprooted, and
Right.
some that have fallen on buildings or houses, and so I can't imagine what their rivers
Mhm.
are like.
It's gonna flow our way.
Well, but it's kind of has an effect of a dam or whatever. I mean, when you get that much rain along with it, I mean,
Mhm.
it sweeps it.
I don't think it's gonna stop you
Somewhere.
somewhere.
Nope.
I think this year's gonna be pretty wild for storms.
Right, sure.
You think of super El, we're in a super El Nino too, hottest the ocean's ever been. I know that affects weather a lot. I don't know if you guys read into that at all, but
There's other theories on that.
we're gonna find out. It seems to be pretty wild so far.
Well, and it's happened before.
Yeah, I guess where I'm going is it could happen again.
No, it's.
Sorry.
What's got me concerned, Marcus, we're stretched out to about 20 to 25 years to meet all our obligations. And that's a tough deal when you're having costs, as we all experience in our own personal lives and in businesses, going up. And man, we really got to grab this by the tail pretty quick, or we're going to be in trouble. And I hope people understand that it's not a joke anymore. This money thing is a serious deal. So I don't like to see us. I like to see us with a clean slate, to be honest with you, because you can make good decisions. But when you don't have a clean slate, you're tied. So
And we touched on the reserves a little bit last week, and we'll bring that up more as we're working through these decisions in the upcoming weeks. But that is like just what Janelle mentioned, like we didn't know these storm costs were going to come in. And so that is some of the reasons that we do have to have some backup and some reserves to be prepared, because there's some things out of our control that are going to come up every year that we have to address for our taxpayers. And so those are some of the things we want to be able to bring the savings as much as possible without hurting ourselves if we get into a position where we don't have enough reserves to take care of some of these things as they come
There's
up.
no reserves there right now. Do you know?
Well, we budget, when we look at the overall, it's a real challenge to just, if you look at our cash balances, to say what's actually in reserve versus what's been budgeted. When we budget every year in the general fund, we budget right now about $1.2 million, and that's to cover any of the overall general fund expenditures. The general fund can also kind of bail out some of the other funds if they had to. But that 1.2 is usually, that's kind of been the number in the last couple of years that we've been sitting on in order to help ourselves if something like this come up, because even these costs.
I thought it was closer to 1.6. Am I wrong?
No, I think it's, by the time you get through all the expenses, it's been in that 1.2, 1.3 range.
The last couple of budgets, it's been in the 1.2 range. And I think there was a time that we budgeted closer to 1.4, 1.6 range.
So an unexpected expense like debris on the bridges, isn't that what our cash reserve is for?
Yes, so like some.
Instead of trying to sustain that in the general? I mean, that's a massive increase.
So that one could come out of road and bridge.
Or the highway sales.
Or the highway
Every
sales.
year.
Yes.
Maybe.
And we wouldn't anticipate that would repeat next year or the year after.
Well, I don't know if that
I mean,
changes
it
our
could
road
statistically.
plan.
Absolutely could. It absolutely will change it, because those are monies that we could also take out of this budget too. Those are monies that were for this project. Now we're gonna have to move it over here to this one. But the other thing with that, with reserves, those don't build back up in a year. It takes several years to do that too. So depleting them it's not my recommendation. It's my, I can't do that after doing this for so many years, because what goes into your budget is your assessed valuation, your carryover, your proposed revenue, your proposed expenditures. That's also a part of it. So if you don't have healthy reserves, that impacts what your budget is going to be, or what your mill levy will be in those 5 funds. So.
And our auditor did tell us last year, or when she was here, or it was he this time.
It was Kim. Yeah, it was him.
But anyway, it's been brought up before that what a county typically carries for reserves, that we're in a zone that's, it's okay. I mean, it wasn't abundant.
Right.
But it's,
They talked
yeah,
about
4 months or 5 months, that's kind of in a safe area, safety net area, but it's not.
I think he mentioned about 3 to 6 months of
Mhm.
operating reserve. I think you're around that 4-month range is about where we were at the end of the 2025 audit. So we're right in there. We're not on, but yeah, like I said, we're closer to the lower side of that.
And those reserves are important because the community development block grant stuff sometimes requires you to have a little bit backup, or you don't meet those obligations for those big dollar items that cost way more than we're ever going to afford. So we sure want that backing.
And I'm not looking for extra expenses.
Right.
But when we do those bridge inspections, I mean, the river was at Press
Right.
here. And so, I mean, when they do those inspections, and that's actually, I was very impressed with that. Quite a few years ago, we had one come up over at Chapman, and they had pictures from previous years and a decade ago and so on of what the riprap looked like underneath, and plus they got underneath and looked at the bridge. But when we have this kind of weather, that's when sometimes that riprap deteriorates quicker or gets washed away.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I mean, not significant. It's like, not like the bridge is going to wash out, but they can tell
Mhm.
it's not where it was.
Right.
And
that's just one
and that could be extra
example.
expense.
That could be, and that's just one example, and yes, and you have to remember, you budget, this fund is for this fund is for this, the general has the flexibility. We can't use highway money to pay for general fund things, or noxious weed money to pay for general things, that's a violation, so we have to be mindful of that, as we're going through this process too, so. We've taken down building over an enterprise when we've had to use general fund money because they didn't have it. We've paid for cots if we needed that out of the general fund. That's where some of those expenses have come in that we've used money to take care of unexpected expense. So, I mean, there's been a number of things over the years. Tornado was the biggest, probably one that we had as well, so.
So if a bridge gets washed off, for example, washed out, completely gone,
Uh-huh.
what happens there?
So we could use highway sales tax money, or we would use as operating budget, or we would dip into the reserves. I mean, we do have some options, no doubt, but
Well,
something to be mindful.
talk about the options real quick. We got 70,000 that we could transfer from miscellaneous contract.
Mhm.
I mean, do we plan on spending 70 grand this year? I don't think we do. I don't. But I don't know, just an idea.
Right,
I'm
right.
sure you guys will propose that.
Some of that debris removal actually would take place though under this calendar year.
Oh, absolutely, it will. Yes, yes, it will. Because the inspections have to be done this year, so, and they won't be done till the fall. So that's why we're going out for bid, so we can get that done. They have to be done before the inspections take place, so.
Because we lost a bridge down south there, we washed out, it's not there anymore,
Yes.
keep in mind.
We could also, if you're talking about that, the contractual there.
Just to help a little bit, you know what I mean?
For 2027, we have 100,000. We don't have to budget that. We could make it zero. And then if somebody were to come to you with an idea that you believe that would just have to come out of reserves.
I think you know where I'm at on that stuff. That would be how I'd rather run it.
So that could be 100,000 that I would be unbudgeted. So that way, everyone that comes to you to present something that wasn't budgeted, just have to understand that's coming out of reserves because it's truly an unbudgeted.
And the 30K, I mean, was the 250th. So we got 250 years, but we got to do that again.
300 year.
Well, I want to spend just a little bit more money on that, but yes, yeah, only $250.
I'm just checking.
But you're right. Yeah.
Up to the commission, we can vote on it when you guys are ready. But yeah, I mean, if you got extra money sitting around and we got a big expense coming up.
That could be one. I mean, that would just provide a little extra flexibility, but some help, I guess, with the current budget that we're working on right now. If we were to just make that unbudgeted and then we just realize that anyone that comes throughout the year, that's just going to be an unbudgeted expense looking at reserves.
And just for discussion purposes, I mean, it could be that something could still be plugged in there.
Yeah,
It just doesn't need
I'm
to
not
be
saying
100,000. Maybe
Correct. Maybe we drop it to
25 or something.
25, yeah.
That'd be more
We'll give
comfortable
it
with that.
15. No.
Wait, I'm gonna change my.
The one I had though was, and then I was gonna ask you about was miscellaneous expense too.
Mhm.
What do you got going on there? There's a little bit of carryover there. I know you cut it.
Yeah, cut that down. So the miscellaneous.
Maybe I'll just leave that alone, maybe.
Look and see what actually, because I will say, as much as I like the idea of just getting rid of miscellaneous expense, and every time I do that, something comes up and I'm like, where do you take this?
Exactly, it's those
That's some very
things.
odd expenditures that come out of.
King, you're the problem.
No, he's got his own budget.
And I agree, I don't like the idea of miscellaneous expense, but then if there's gonna be a place where there is, I feel like admin should have some, because when we don't know where.
I think I'm cutting teeth there. I mean, it's a pretty small amount, but
Yeah,
I don't remember what we've paid out of it thus far this year.
I should have had some notes on there just to save us this time. I can pull it up real quick.
On the city, we used to call it awards and contributions.
Oh, and that would make more sense for the miscellaneous contractual awards and contributions probably, because that's truly,
Yes.
or.
Situational.
Or something like that, yeah, because
The contract one would be the one I would think we need to talk about. Like Lynn said, I'd be more comfortable budgeting around 25 or something. Personally, I think we should be giving out just a random $100,000 a year. That's not something I'm gonna shoot to try to do. I don't know about you guys, but.
I think that makes sense to me.
I think we give a lot out in appropriations already.
I mean, obviously, it does get to the point where there's no real low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
We have been,
And then we do have unexpected
yes,
expenses and rock and gravel.
Lynn, me personally, I think we're getting into that territory, but
yes. We've been in that territory for a number of years.
yeah.
Just for a quick example on a couple of things, so there was out of that miscellaneous expense in admin, like the 250th banner that's out front, came out of that. There is a $1,300 that we had to pay to the compliancy group that sends out some compliance emails and all of the employees have to do. So that's something that has come from that this year. And then there was a couple of items that have gone.
It's fun. You don't need to
Yeah,
dig through it.
it's just a variety of.
No, I'm sure it's a bunch of small stuff.
Yeah.
It is a bunch of small stuff.
Like I said, I'm probably cutting teeth here.
But we can definitely, so I'll go ahead and make some adjustments on that miscellaneous contractual. What I'll do is I'll move that to 25,000 for 2027. I can also, if you're comfortable, you talked about moving out the $70,000. I could basically move that projection down to the $30,000 for 2026 if we're not planning to utilize that the rest of the year. And that would be another, that would be some savings there as well, that I think would just.
I'd like to use it towards our cleanup project personally, but you do
We'll
it.
take it out of, yeah, I mean, we'll start with highway knowing we can do that.
Our hope will be that we can get some funding back, as you did the emergency declaration last week. If Saline County and Salina come to the table with enough expenditures, which I think they're gonna have quite a bit, we will hit the state threshold and we have an opportunity to potentially get some money back for some of this emergency, but that's
no guarantee.
Yeah, we can't count on that because it doesn't happen very often unless it's pretty significant. Guys, any more questions? I'll let Chancey pop up here to go over emergency management custodian.
Go ahead, Chancey. Good morning. Jeez. All right.
Had my hip replaced, so no.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm pretty flat on both my budgets, staying the same. Emergency management, going up 400 in one spot, coming down 5 in another. But remaining flat across the board. One thing I wanted to bring up on it, I do want to come up a lot, but I'm not going to ask you guys for any money. I went and spoke with Hank Royer. My CERT program is a 501c3. We created that back in 2006 when I formed the CERT program. And when we would operate the program, and like we would perform duties like we worked the marathon for June DeWeese, we would receive a donation back from her to the organization. We would just put that in the 501c through the community foundation. And that would hold our money and we'd be able to buy backpacks and supplies, first aid stuff and stuff like that. And there's probably, I don't know, I get a flyer from Elizabeth from that. I think there's maybe $2,000 in that account right now. My point in talking to you guys about the money part of it is I called the Red Cross during our last 2 disasters that we had, the ones that you guys signed the declarations for. I called the Red Cross and said, they asked for a need. And I said, I think we might need a shelter down by Woodbine. We don't have any power, whether that be a cooling shelter or a personnel shelter overnight. And they said, well, if you get the people to run it, we might be able to help you. And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't understand how do you help me if I have people running? What's your job in this? I have the people and we're doing it. Well, we'll tell you how to do it. Like, you come and tell us, or no, we'll just send you information. So I don't think we have a Red Cross presence in our communities anymore like we used to. We're gonna have to take care of ourselves if we have a disaster. And I think through our CERT program, we can do that. But I'm gonna need some help with that. I can't stop. During a disaster, I'm super busy doing coordination and helping our responders and getting stuff done. Maybe a person that I could have part-time for a while or something like that, but I want to use my 501c, and I'm going to start, I'm meeting with the Rotary Friday. I'm going to be the Rotary speaker Friday and talk to them. And I'm going to start presenting our CERT program, what they do for the community, how they perform, what operations they do in a disaster. You know, and they are very active. If we have a tornado like the last one we had in 16, they parked all the vehicles out at the landfill. They ran all the operations out there. They were the errand people. They had a hard role that we couldn't get any responders to do. They work their butts off for free. They're volunteers, but we have to get them some equipment, some stuff to be able to perform those duties. And we don't have any money in here in my operational budget to do that. So I'm looking for other sources to do that doesn't tax the taxpayers to do that. And this is how I'm going to reach out and do that. And I thought, while I'm doing my budget, I'm going to tell you exactly. So if you hear someone say, hey, Chancey's out doing this for the CERT program, this is exactly what we're doing. And it's to, and 100% of what goes into this stays right here in our community and handles our disaster stuff. And back to the disasters, yeah, we're not assured anything as far as being in this disaster that we're going to get reimbursed for. We have a lot of damage. We have, I don't know, we have to get $87,000 in damages before we reach our threshold for it. I think we're going to make that good, but we have townships that have said, yeah, we don't have anything, we're good. No, you do. You just don't want to go write it down. And we don't have a mechanism to make them do that. We can't make them go write their damages down. They're just going to come to us this winter and say, we don't have any money. We spent it all on gravel to do snow removal. It's just going to be that. Whereas if we do make our threshold and get money from the state, they're like, why didn't we get any? I don't know what that looks like. I'm going to try to come up with a better program for our township days. So when we present to them, instead of just saying, take pictures, write it down, come up with paperwork to hand them. If we have this, take a picture, write this stuff down, this is how to do it, and come up with something better for them to do, because collecting the information right now, writing down where the damage is how it is. That's how we get our threshold, how we get our money back as a county. We all have to work together to get that, or we're not going to get anything back. Because if we don't get our 86,000, it doesn't matter if Saline County gets theirs. It doesn't matter if Ellsworth gets theirs, because it's for the period of June 4th through June 12th. Anybody that got damages in there that has a state declared disaster qualifies for that. And then we have to make our threshold, and then the state has to make theirs of 5.2 million, I think it is. And I think Saline County probably has that. I think they probably have that. If you would go there and look at the debris they have and the damages they have a lot of debris to haul out. It's gonna be close though. So I think every load counts, every bit of rock counts that you put on the road, every hour of a worker out there in the dump truck working. And we have to emphasize this to the townships. What you do, that if you only have 5 spots to fix, that's 5 spots to fix. That's $1,000 that goes to our bank. That matters. And we have to make sure that that's important for them.
Chancey, send them around, just send some people down in our area. Our small communities, let's be real blunt about it. Didn't get any help hardly any time. They were shocked. All the little communities around here, when they seen that, they thought, we got it now. So they're working with this. to help our little community. We don't compete with Salina. We're little towns with 150 to 500 people. We're lost, and they didn't realize how bad it could be out in the rural areas.
Right.
And they were shocked.
You don't have enough damage.
Yeah.
We have a lot of damage for the size we are, yes.
That we did, especially in little communities with limited resources.
Correct.
And then just thank goodness nobody got killed in this last ordeal. It was bad, you guys.
But then, and we have it better than people west.
Yeah.
The further west you go, the smaller the communities are. You know, I have counties the size of Abilene.
Yeah.
And we do talk about this regularly with the communities and with the townships and stuff, but
So the 24 townships, how many have reported to you? Any damages? Okay.
But I also, the state reached out to me during one of our calls with them and said, if you want help, we'll send someone there to do the township's damage assessments. I said, send them,
please, yes.
send them. Thinking they wouldn't. He showed up and he's doing it. I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Because the townships don't want to do it. It's extra work. There's someone here that will do it for you. He'll drive your roads and write it down. Why wouldn't you use that? Why wouldn't you use that?
And I can't blame the township officers completely. I mean, they got daytime jobs too.
Absolutely. But if someone's willing to do it for you, just coordinate it with them.
100%. Yeah.
They're only looking at 20%.
Say again?
They're only looking at 20% of your roads for your township. And then if you have any more damages beyond that, you take pictures and send them to locations and stuff.
So we get a cover a little bit of it.
Mhm.
You kind of give them a hint of where you think the worst stuff
They
is.
have meetings with almost everybody. I talk to them.
Well, I gave them the whole list of all the township officers with phone numbers for them to call. But as far as people that have reached out and gave information back, the last I knew, because I'm getting emails back from them also, was like 9 or 10.
Well, center's taking care.
Good. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You guys have any questions for me?
Your custodial budget. Isn't that you?
Yeah, that's him.
No, I don't have any questions on that. I mean,
You want one?
kind of wait around and see. It's kind of where we're at. So.
We switched to one play.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'm curious on the CERT deal. I think you ought to reach out to the Ministerial Alliance
For,
funding,
well, and it's not.
or even volunteers.
It's not just funding. The other thing we're looking for.
The people in the
is
churches.
organizations, because we have a lot of volunteer organizations who do stuff. But like if we had a tornado, we have like the Kiwanis and the Optimists and those organizations. But what do they know how to do in a disaster? If they would take the CERT program, now they've had some training. They could actually know how to help do stuff that would benefit a disaster. And we could train those organizations to do that.
I agree.
One thing Saline County is running into, and you're probably aware of this, I'm sure you're visiting with them over there too, but they've had lots of volunteers step forward, and then they talk to people and remind them and say, you know, chainsaws, it can be dangerous, and big limbs and hanging limbs and so on. And they have so many people that are willing to help, and, you know, power lines being down and such. And so
They have 4 professional arborist organizations and Salina running around doing their stuff. Or it's tree services. And like my girlfriend's parents have a limb on their house, they have a little tree on their house. The first bid the day after the storm was $8,600 to take the tree off of their house. It's still on their house because they're on the list for these volunteers to come get it off. Someone stopped by yesterday and it's down to $1,500 to get it off of their house.
I hear their residents are
and there were a dozen vehicles that were tree limb type services and on the highway. I went to Salina yesterday. It was just one truck after another out of Manhattan and Topeka and so on, but they're also helping. I mean, that's
the problem we had in Chapman is we had 1,500 unsolicited volunteers helping to pick up debris, but they were tourists.
Yes.
They were picking up people's valuables. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So we made groups and we put our CERT volunteers with them. The 2 CERT volunteers went with 10 volunteers that came into the community and they babysat them.
And you
This
have,
is what we're gonna do. And then they got done. They brought them all back to the park, got a new job, went out and did that, and then came back. And those CERT volunteers worked their butts off, but they had to babysit it. You know, we had people coming with backpacks and flip flops to
yeah,
move debris. That's not.
it's a safety issue and a liability, you know, that we allowed them to do that. So we had.
But we've had our lessons learned and we need to do what we know that we need to do.
now, we did have some situations here in Abilene, and maybe you were working with some of them, but there was a transformer that got hit by lightning. And so there were several houses, I say several, a small group of houses that didn't have any electricity for 2 or 3 days. And so then there were extension cords being ran from other houses for oxygen machines and things like that. And
Did anybody?
never found out about it till after the fact.
It's nice coordination and nice to get someone electricity for their oxygen machine. Yeah, no, our
But
clerk, Raquel, she didn't have electricity for almost 4 or 5 days down.
We had another,
But
Like how that River Festival happened.
Yeah.
It was-
but I don't, did anybody reach out to you needing a generator or anything like that because of?
so would we have that though? Because I think that's one of those things is kind of old school for some people is you tough it out and you don't ask for help. It's just better to somehow persevere and we need to kind of get that information out or, I mean, I know you're trying, and I can talk to the,
But that's like that's what I'm saying. In the days of like June DeWeese and our Red Cross chapter, we had a rock star Red Cross chapter. I thought the world of our Red Cross chapter. We had hundreds of volunteers in Dickinson County. And she had lists of people she knew that needed help if severe stuff happened here. And those just don't exist anymore. I know John Holtberg has a lot of the list stuff of people in critical care that if something happens in a neighborhood, we know who to go to and take care of. And that community paramedics program helps with that a lot also, that we know where there's people with oxygen concentrators and stuff are, that when power goes out, that we need to get to them. We know where that is.
but if there would have, I'm assuming now you didn't know about this, if there were a half a dozen houses in Abilene where a transformer got hit and then Effigy said, we can't get to you because we have greater needs getting power up and poles up and so on. So you're going to have to wait 3 or 4 days. Would we have 6 generators for 6 homes in Abilene or Woodbine or?
It would be a call to the state and we'd probably bring, if it's like a neighborhood like that, we could take, like, we have our light tower. I could park it in the middle of the block and we could set a power distribution block up there and we could power 4 or 5 different houses.
Okay.
Totally unrelated.
Because that could have
I
been.
know a company that sells power units.
It's also a state resource. We could request it from the
Get
state.
discount for that too.
I'll stop.
I know everybody that does that kind of stuff. It's just a phone call to get stuff like that. That's-
Well, and I feel bad for this individual because, I don't think they reached out and their neighbors didn't think about it. And they solved it to a certain degree other than they didn't have air conditioning and they hot, humid days. And the refrigeration and freezers, things like that. I mean, there were things that were lost, so.
I worked all night and came home to go to bed with no air conditioner myself, no power.
Oh.
And when you live on the farm, you don't have water either.
People used to live that way.
I live like that current.
Ours, get around.
When you don't have power, you can't shower, you can't see at night.
You can't look at your phone. Now you can look at your.
You charge that in your phone, in your car.
Start the car and charge it.
And why is it when you lose power, you still flip the switches for lights?
Check it.
Why is it?
In case. Just.
And then at night, everything comes on while you're asleep.
I know, that's what happened. So, okay, I'm gonna wake now, 4 in the morning.
Well, and typically, effigy in situations, if you're patient, they get the problem solved within a few hours. And so I think, that instance, I think that was part of the situation.
We're a little spoiled though, because we're on the main line.
Yeah.
That's why our power comes back pretty quick. Up here, you get in the south and north side of the county,
Well, that was Raquel. She's at the
not quite how it works.
line and that distribution line that went from Holland to.
Oh, yeah. Carl,
And this line snapped off 22 poles and that distribution line laid on the supply line.
Yeah.
I can't cut it. So they had to get it stood up before she got out.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested to know where you go for certain thing. I think it's a good idea, what you're trying to do.
We got to do something because I don't like that. I don't like to need something and not have it. Because if we need a shelter, we need a shelter. And it's not a thing you can wait for. And we need to have it pre-done. So we say, hey, we need the shelter here. Everybody knows what we need to do to accomplish that goal.
So is Red Cross, I guess if you visited with them when there isn't a crisis,
We did a training.
but
here a
isn't
couple
it,
weeks ago.
but isn't it first in, first out? Is that still their,
there's,
They
or is that an obsolete?
when they were in Salina for the disaster there, and I don't think they'll be invited back.
Oh,
they have one person that covers, what, 3 states perhaps?
They have 4 people for like 98 counties.
Okay.
So if you have one in multiple counties, how many people are you gonna get to help you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not feasible to utilize them anymore.
They are not the same as they used to be years ago. That's for sure.
Well, and some of it's funding and some of it's, at one time, I think they were the first choice and one of the only choices.
Correct.
And so,
And anything donated to them, like if they wanted to donate for here, the money's not staying in our county. It's gonna go to some big regional chapter and you're not getting any of it.
Don't worry, their CEO only makes $800,000 with a $500,000 dividend payout this year, bonus payout. Pretty broke. Wow, sorry, I do that a lot. When you brought it up the other day, I went and looked it up.
Crazy.
Okay,
But I want anything donated. I want it to stay here and I want us to use it here.
one,
Equipment, but we need,
how long do the townships have to turn in their damage reports?
I haven't called the PA yet, the meeting for the stuff yet, but
Yeah.
they want it post haste. They want to get it worked on.
Just curious if we need to make an announcement.
Friday?
We need to get it Friday. Surely we've announced that to everybody and let them know.
I'll probably talk to him this afternoon again.
Okay. Which means should be our focus right now. It's trying to get funding.
100%.
At least for your department.
Our threshold is our focus.
I spoke with them on Tuesday. They said they didn't see any problem with us being in that.
Good.
That they thought it would be, we'd be over.
Well, the log jams are gonna throw us over.
Yeah.
We had some of those.
Okay. We contract in like tree removal services to do that, or how do we,
Our guys are done.
we're gonna do it?
Yeah. They're done paving, so they're gonna go ahead and take care of
I was
what they can.
curious who was gonna do it. All right.
Are they taking care of township ones too? Because we have some of the bridges that have been.
We gotta do county stuff first, so, yeah. I mean, reach out to Martin and see if he has,
It's all gonna be contract stuff, so it's just,
yeah,
the cost is the same.
yeah.
Okay. We don't have anything else this morning to discuss. We could take a pretty long break. We're gonna take a 27-minute break till 11 and we'll resume our regular meeting unless anybody has any other topics.
Cool. What you do?
Thank you guys. See you at 11.
and Janelle, did 1100 and 2100 Nail Road, your boy there, he get a hold of you, you get a hold of him,
So,
or he's shot.
yeah,
What was a big deal on it? Was it culvert forced out?
yes, and it's,
We had started maintaining some progress after.
See if you get the names. That's how we can't,
So he said just put that on.
it puts us in the middle of township boards at the county.
Yeah.
We gotta be very,
Want them and,
oh, you can,
yeah, needing to express some.
There's some bad damage. in it.
but he's cool with it now.
It's crazy.
Well, and it's going to take longer than the material. So we just,
Yes, just jump through.
are you guys trying to recover any of the stuff out?
Yeah, we're trying to.
So give me,
Yes, like.
I'm sorry.
no.
Okay.
There's.
Yeah. Thank you for doing
Which-
We were doing about
A loss,
probably nothing.
like.
About our need.
Pretty much you can't do. Well, you know, right. Single issue, that's a big one.
Oh, I like the detour.
So it's a state highway and we're gonna have another unofficial detour coming out when they do the exchange up there at KPTK 18. That's up even. So we haven't talked to them yet about what
We're
that's
gonna
gonna
have
be.
the other one done first.
They're,
We're gonna have two massive detours.
we're gonna have two massive detours. I don't know if they will or not. I
So
mean, that was still.
Don't go
10
north
month
anymore,
Yeah, that was still a 10-month project,
huh?
so.
Well, I know you guys probably don't travel north, but I do.
I do, I want to watch, I know the watch.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
So that comes down to the north.
Yeah.
You have fun with it.
No, in-laws, and my daughters. Sure.
Yeah, so we'll get some more information tonight, hopefully. Let's see, but yeah, that's gonna be another one. And I don't have the agreement back that you signed for the first unofficial detour yet from the state, so sounds like it's been approved. They just haven't submitted it back to us, so we haven't submitted any reimbursement requests.
So that's the cost of our technical roads, huh?
So important, you know, just a mile road, $300,000. How much do you generate off revenue to help offset the cost? $300,000.
So you go.
I know, so what do you do? You need roads.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys.
I don't know. Since I've been there, I would never agree to take on the roads.
100%.
I don't know if it can afford this either.
Yes, they can.
Can they? really?
Yes, they can. Yeah. They're gonna try not to do, but they can. And we've got a huge one that runs through our county.
He's just copying all the kettle black.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's. I know. That's what happens.
She's all pretty right now. So, on the final-
Central Kansas County.
uh-huh.
Last year, we adjusted all the wages, I said no vote to, with some people about 40% increases. We did off 1.5 million, I think it was. They decided they wanted to change the calendar year after the raises January 1st, started July 1st. A lot of it is because there's so much pressure in December to get everything lined up in January. But now we're going to do it in 2 weeks out of July 1st. And then do another $1.5 million. That's for 214 people.
Oh, cow.
Then you don't hear that, plus 354,356,000 for Christmas bonuses.
Then they have the 34%.
Yes. Yeah, you
Well,
were
there's a
wrong.
building project going on,
Sure.
but they're,
She said they paid cash for that and took care of it.
yeah, well, the renovation hasn't been paid because it's ongoing, but there's
Okay.
money's in place for it.
Okay.
But I'm going to barely make the budget. So all of a sudden have that excess. And so, I mean,
I noted it to her right here.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Just so you know, I said, you got a massive carryover in Comassus for this money, you gotta explain it.
yeah, well, see, some of it we're supposed to help them, but with Medicare or Medicaid, everything's changed. It's on the money flow.
Mhm.
And those salaries are built into what the ask is.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So that changes everything.
yeah, so it's paid for.
We're pretty much.
There.
funded.
Oh, yeah.
You call, you sit on the board. Your
So-
suggestion, I guess, is what I'd say.
Yeah, so I am. Yeah, so
Mm.
I didn't realize that.
But I mean, our taxpayers are stressed.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like we're.
I even said the Central Kansas Free Fair. I said, you know, when we started this fair, it was truly free. Nothing cost money. But now the rides cost money, the drinks cost money, the rodeo costs money.
You know,
There's nothing in that thing free.
well, you
They get in
can,
there.
well, you can go there. and walk through.
Sure.
No, I mean, there's no admission fee.
I'm not
The only thing
suggesting
is,
is just saying, if they're making money,
yeah,
why do you need public support?
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's reasonable.
question.
I'm not trying to cut the fair. I think the fair is great. One of some of the most cherished memories I got is going to the fair as a kid, but it's just a question I got.
The situation that we're in now with our budgets and the statutory mandated services that we have to provide and how we continue to provide them, and we see our expenses continually rise, that for those necessary services, those are some choices that we're gonna have to discuss and I come up with a plan for, and it's
200 and what million almost appropriations.
it's gonna be hard. It is, and that's what, Marcus is right. I mean, he's got all the numbers in there. We've got to go and do some tweaking on our projections for this year. And some of these things that we talked about will definitely help, but we still have an uphill battle to climb, so. Our plan is to come back with a couple options, so. You see that, yeah. So we'll come with a couple options and see how you all want to do this, but. Yeah.
They had a, I don't know if oh, I was gonna look up on Slant Post, but I don't know if I can find it in the. But it had the picture of one of the homes. I was thinking my phone was
Yeah, I know.
off one weather.
Mhm.
I mean, did you see that house?
Oh, yes, that is just crazy.
I mean, it uprooted the sidewalk. And then it just cleaned,
Took that
knocked the
time.
porch right off the,
Mhm.
I mean, if you'd been sitting on your porch watching the storm, you'd be dead.
Yes, you would, yeah. Oh,
But there's, so I went to a fundraiser that was on the golf course. And there's several trees like that where it looks like a somewhat healthy tree. It's roots and everything. And they just dumped over and they got them all pushed over on the side. To get them out there. I mean, I don't know when they'll have time to get them all out of there.
well, I know they had their list and they were going around doing that.
So how's the family doing? Everybody doing good?
Yeah.
I think it seems
I
like.
don't know.
Busy, everybody's busy, aren't they?
It has harvest, you know.
I was down Salina yesterday and they got like a week already.
Yeah,
And look, I don't know what the,
it's terrible.
it wasn't not good
I
yield.
bet we're averaging 35 in this county.
35 what?
Bushel.
Just
Oh,
somebody
just, you
coming.
know, I don't pay the bills anymore. Used to,
Yeah.
about 20 years
Yeah.
ago. They
I
said
think you're
50 bushels.
lucky.
Yeah, they were cutting in slings. I
35, actually.
don't know if it's Edwards or they're by interstate.
Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, they were, I mean, clear to the ground. You know, usually you'll see that stubble up there and they're.
Yes, it's short stalks and the heads were, yeah. It
I
was-
didn't, so.
Down south of Wichita though, their yields were good.
Yeah, and I think in Ellsworth County, they had some that were close to the 50 mark,
Yeah.
but not really around here, so.
This is what I heard. So that's seed guys and co-op guys.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
And then hay wasn't good.
Yeah.
No,
Well, there's
You know,
nothing
that
there.
old 2 out of 3 rule. we gotta hope for a fall bumper, really, what we gotta hope for.
And cattle, I guess, or,
The cattle guys are staying alive.
you know,
They're making money off
I
that.
mean, they're gonna have to pay for their pay. And
Well, and then you always got the guys that sell the whole freaking herd and
Well, and
try to buy back chicken. I don't wanna talk down on them, because I mean, sure.
No, when it
they've got their own
works,
situations
when
going
it
on.
works, it works.
It does.
And if it's, your timing's off a little bit.
Guy like my buddy Matt Howard, or John rather, he cow-calved operation for a guy since he's been back like 15 years. I think now he's got a steady herd of like 120.
Mhm.
You know, you just
all you have to do is
keep a
say
few, and
pink eye, foot and mouth disease, and the price drops.
I know.
Just say something.
He's scared about the, as a new worm going on. Yeah. He's pretty worked up about that, which I get it. I mean, that's kind of his.
Well,
I'm sure he's
whenever,
financing because he bought a farm too.
yeah, I mean, somewhere along the line, it made it across the border. And even though it's just a few instances, if it makes it up further, expands.
Yeah.
I'm devastating to our economy. I mean, I think cattle's a big part of Canada's economy.
Oh, yeah.
What is it now?
We have the second largest meat packing plant in the world. The Koch brothers packing plant. Second or third largest, I think, in the world.
Well, if you're in the county though, we've got quite a few guys with,
Yeah.
I think the county's pretty loaded.
I don't know if Hutch is still that way, but it used to be Hutch was, I mean, pretty much meat bags.
Dodge City and
Or
West.
Dodge City, rather, sorry.
Yeah, no, they're loaded.
That's all keeps the thing going. A lot of the West Kansas boys, though, they got some oil in their land too sometimes, so you got.
well, oil prices, that's what.
They're doing pretty good this year, I think. Some of them. Obviously, they don't have oil.
Well, right, they capped a lot of wells is the problem. Back 3 or 4 years ago. And so they,
Do you know, are you only allowed so many wells within a certain area?
no, well, I mean, you can't go in on someone else's. So, yeah, there's a distance involved.
You can't directional bore.
Yeah.
But
Lateral drill over your neighbor's.
well, some of it you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Is with that.
because of what's underneath, but
I wonder about that though. I mean,
But no, I mean, oil wells are crazy because someone can have something that does 50 barrels a day and they'll go a quarter mile down the road and end up a dry well, or it only does 7 barrels a day. And so they have to let it accumulate and run it for a few hours and let it accumulate. And then you go another quarter mile and someone hits a well that's just going great guns.
Different pockets.
Yeah.
They're in different pockets.
Yeah.
But no,
They don't frack in Kansas.
but they would give you opportunity if you would invest in
They
a
did.
well. They do their studies and say, we're pretty sure we're going to hit here, and you can buy in on it. And then if it's a dry hole, you're out your money. And
Oil's good, but I'll tell you what, those rock quarries do offer good. They make a lot of money.
We sit on Sand Springs, and I've always asked my dad back then, like, why don't we just the save in bags and sell it? It's just sitting there. People need it. It's like it's real fine sand where we live.
yeah, well, down at
Good for concrete.
over in Salina, they have
Remember
that one place on the southeast edge of town. It was an old sand pit, and there's all these beautiful homes around it because they kind of effect of a little lake or
that. Yeah.
so in their backyards. And then Wichita's done that several places.
We all had these last week. It was all over.
Yeah. Well, the same thing right across from us on the river.
Yeah.
During Clemens.
It's,
At least there's trucks coming out of there.
Hmm.
MCM trucks.
wow,
I assume we're pulling sand out of there.
there's demand for it with that concrete, I think.
Well, sand though, is so heavy, man, by volume.
Yeah.
It is. Freaking
Well, I had
heavy.
this at my business. I had this nice little sand pile, and if I needed it for some work and so on, I just Those are the new people, they want to keep it.
Let me know, I want you to load, say anytime you want. We got so much sand piled up.
Well, I went up to the lumber house, and it's this little bag of sand, it's like $6.50.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, why am I not just bagging this stuff up?
5-gallon buckets.
Yeah. I'm like, guys, we're sitting on natural resource. It's sand. And then, I mean, now there's tractor parts everywhere. I don't know the word, but
Well, once you excavate though, you're gonna lose. So it's how much land do you want to lose in volume?
yeah.
But yeah, you'd eventually have a little pond.
Well, when we dug our retention pond, it wasn't until we got 4 or 5 foot down and we started hitting like actual mixed dirt.
Oh, okay.
How far down?
Like 4 foot.
Really?
Yeah, I killed my yard. It was sand.
Wow.
It was a beach. So then I had to go to Clements and asked him, and he was nice enough to give me his loader and dump truck, and I had to bring his dirt in from his topsoil. And just to plant grass.
Yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't hold the seed. But I was like, how did it start? I was flabbergasted. Like, how did it even grow to begin with? I guess we
Well,
did.
so Fred Bud Lane, out there, that road kind of washes out, put some rock down and it just pushes down into the same.
Oh,
it disappears. Yeah, that's.
That's what I was telling you now. So we laid our roads and had one machine input. They had a big rock and a small rock on top base then. That'll hold it.
Yeah, there's
I think
Arizona.
our roads are like asphalt.
In Arizona, they grow cactus. Forget about the grasses. I was out there. I thought, darn, you guys don't even know. They don't know mowers out there. It's all gravelly. It's
Arden, are you hearing much on wheat reports on harvesting?
No, I'm not,
You're not hanging out at the co-op or anything?
no. I noticed that, Matt, Mike Clemens' son-in-law just started cutting south of the river today, or south of Old Fort.
Okay,
But there's not much cut right there, folks.
yeah,
You know, where we come back out of Salina and, on Magnolia, there was quite a bit of wheat cut along there and I don't remember now if they call it. Well, I don't know what they do call that. Road going east, wrong memories.
oh, yeah. Well, it gets called a lot of things,
Wheat cut along that.
yeah. I mean, some call it Country Club Road and then Magnolia Road and then it's Rural Center Road. And then, of course, now we have all the numbers on there, so.
Yeah, it was Country Club. The other, they used to call Merrimack Road 2 years ago.
Yeah,
years ago.
but and it's Slime actually have a north bring up Road Sling County. It's north and south, but they call the blacktop.
How you doing?
I don't know.
How you doing? Thanks for coming in again today.
Do what?
I said, thank you for coming in again today.
It's something I guess I can do.
I appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
We don't have any additions to the agenda.
I don't think so. Pretty short agenda today, really. Request for vacate. If we're sitting in the hearing section, remember? Yeah. Agreement with Call Valley. Elder abuse, so that's.
There's a lot of that out there, sadly.
Yeah, there is.
I know there is too. It's not funny. I see the videos online of retirement homes.
Well, I mean, I think sometimes too, maybe it doesn't start out that way, but there's kind of caretakers of people that help people that are in need and requesting. If something goes wrong, it's a problem.
I'm convinced it happens in the ICU a lot.
And
ICU,
really, you know,
I think they give up sometimes. Sorry.
And I think he needs this one.
they, I didn't sign it. I'm just checking on you to see if you checked it out.
Right?
Keep you on your toes.
Gotta keep you in line, make sure everything gets done.
I heard one report down in Saline County down by Sarah, that they said that we got it making 25, 30, which is good compared to what you think you could make.
25 to 30?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's got some people
That's about a third what they're used to though.
well,
Or half.
yeah. Yeah, a little better, but the way the year was, I think they figured 25 to 30 per shift.
Mhm.
So commissioners, Jennifer had forwarded me an email that she received from the Kansas State Fair Association. And they are going to have a 250th celebration, and they wanted to know if Kansas counties would want to participate in it. It's a cost of $250, and what they're doing is they're going to have a county state map exhibit in the Bison area. And that's a newly renovated place, and it's going to be installed on the floor. So they're asking each county to contribute a representative item that reflects the character and strength of the community. So, I mean, obviously the big one would be Eisenhower, it would be, you know, or Wild Bill or agriculture or whatever the case is, but the fee is the $250. So I'm just wondering if you're comfortable with doing that or not.
And that's something every county.
They have sent it
they're
out to
hoping every county
county.
participates. in
Correct.
that.
Correct.
So
I'd be in favor of it, but I think you need a consensus of everybody what you want to have.
Correct. Correct. So,
well, I'm just curious what their budget is on that, because if they get the 250 from 100.
Oh,
I have no idea. So, yeah.
I mean, I know not all counties will,
105 counties.
probably would not participate, but most would.
So it's also banner, and the banner is 18 inches by 36. And it's the cost for that. And then this map that's going to be included, or that they're building with that. So
So just for 1 year, Janelle will stay there.
the map will be there permanently because it's going to be installed on the floor. The banners, I don't know what they would do. My guess.
It's like a $25,000 budget.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. So they've asked Jennifer a couple times now, so you let me know what you would like for me to do.
They have physically called me too.
How soon do they need to know?
They need to know by July 1st if they would like to. So you've got another week if you want to think about
A
it.
few questions on what maybe the budget is and the permanence of it. And not trying to do it, but maybe it's just easier to. I mean, it is a pretty big event, so, and we do want our name out there, KC,
Then here we are trying to save money too.
and we're trying to
Well,
save money.
this is for the Kansas State Fair.
Oh, it's Kansas State Fair.
Correct.
So
Kansas
they're
State
just
Fair.
in it. So does KAC, have they?
I was there at the
They're just
KAC
staying out of it.
offices yesterday and they never said a word about it. So I don't even know if they're involved. This is just through their coordinator at the state fair.
Would you ask?
That's what everybody raises.
I wonder if they're. I mean, I know a lot of people go there, but you see a lot of stuff at the state fair and then.
It's very commercialized anymore because I was in 4-H for 12 years in FFA and it's not the same.
I mean, you could go down there and spend a couple of days and not see everything,
Mhm.
so.
I think we got more important things to do, but whatever you guys want to do.
I can tell her no, that's not a problem.
I don't know if I'd feel left out that much.
Got left out.
It's, I don't know, either way though, either way. $50.
But all the top contenders of 4-H and stuff and other organizations, that's what they finally have their final contest. Sure. That represents the area.
Call this meeting to order. If it all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'll remain standing for the invocation from Mr. Peterson.
Heavenly Father, again, we just thank you for this beautiful cooler day that we can enjoy and people can be outside. Pray for those that are doing the harvest and still planting. We just pray that that will go well and that the machinery will work right. Heavenly Father, I give thanks too for our county officials, for those employees and for the volunteers that make our county a good place to live. And we are so fortunate to be here in the middle part of Kansas. And we feel safe, and we just thank you for that. And that credit would go to the people that maintain our laws, the sheriffs and the city police and so on, highway patrol, and we just thank you for that. We're so blessed here, Lord, and I thank you for the opportunity now to pray for them and to wish them a good day and good weeks. Heavenly Father, we just pray too for wisdom for the commissioners as they make decisions today. We pray that your Holy Spirit will guide them and that the decisions that they make will be the best ones for our area. Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for who you are, for the power you have, and just give you all the praise. And we pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Moving on to the approval of the agenda, we have Elder Abuse Awareness Month presented by Kanan Munson, a DVAC victim advocate. We got to approve the agenda first. And then we have requests to vacate a portion of Solomon Road between 3100 Avenue, 3200 Avenue, and Flora Township. We also have consideration of an agreement with Caw Valley Engineering for professional engineering service for the for Safe Streets for All project. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. I'm gonna start doing that. I should be doing that anyway. Don't think we have a consent agenda this week.
Yeah, you do. You've got your minutes and payroll and utilities and whatnot. So it's listed.
You might say, all right, that's fine. Consent agenda minutes are provided at the June 11th meeting. Payroll of $425,195.91. Utilities at $11,409.43. Credit card payment of $31,662.49. Enterprise fleet management payment of $35,297.98. I have a motion to approve the consent.
I would move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs. The ayes have it.
Apologize, that's on me. I'm learning this new process.
No, no big deal. Big deal. Lynn had me.
So it's on the paper copy, and we just have it on the computer.
Yes.
So
Commissioner comments and committee reports. I'll go ahead and kick it off this week. Actually, I didn't have any meetings last week. So Oh, anything to report? I was sick this
It's
weekend.
nice to get a break sometimes. It was.
Lynn?
I did it too. The Dickinson County Republican Women had a meeting and I attended that and there were about 35 people there. They had someone present on the issue that's coming up for how the selection of judges are made for the Supreme Court justices of Kansas. And so this person was, of course, a proponent that it's more in the hands of the people instead of the current system. And so, anyway, we had that presentation. We also had a Central Kansas Mental Health Board meeting that I attended. And then they also had the casing of the colors over at, on the 16th over at Fort Riley. And so, basically there'll be a lot of our soldiers going overseas. And I know some are going to Poland and perhaps some other areas, but sometimes that has an economic impact because those people, instead of spending money in Junction City and Manhattan and the ones that live here in Dickinson County, perhaps spending money here, a lot of them are going to be overseas. But we need to remember them too, because they're in the service of our country. And in some cases, they still have family members still residing here. So we need to support them any way we can. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lynn. Ron?
I did spend some time yesterday in Salina, over on Broadway there, Juvenile Detention Center. A little word of caution is that things of the youth side has gotten out of hand, and it's very bad in the Salina area. They expect it to move outward of the crime and the type of crimes that are being conducted. We at the detention center in Junction City, North Central Regional Junction City Detention Center that we belong to as an organization, are going to go ahead and expand and make it happen pretty fast because it's overcrowded. So we're at high numbers, more numbers than we've ever had in the past. So those are just a couple of things that we're involved with this week. Obviously, we had storms, our concerns with all the communities around our area and the people in our area. Everybody's working together as a unit to help out best we can. And I appreciate the citizens and our staff here at the county and all volunteers from communities helping out with this storm through all communities. So I do appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn. And I guess I'll make just a comment. Harvest is, I think, getting really kicked off around here. Just slow it down a little bit for the equipment. Let's not rear end anybody or get in any accidents. So, okay. Moving on to presentations, petitions, and proclamations. We have Elder Abuse Awareness Month presented by Cayman Munson. If you want to go ahead and come on up. Go ahead.
This is the Elder Abuse Awareness Month, June 2026 presentation. Whereas according to the National Council on Aging, 1 in 10 seniors in America experience mistreatment or abuse, including domestic and sexual violence, financial exploitation, and neglect. And whereas abusers of older adults are both women and men and are usually family members, caregivers, healthcare workers, or other trusted individuals. And due to the shame, fear, and other barriers others face in reporting abuse, only a limited number of victims are able to get the help they need. And whereas elders throughout the United States lose an estimated $2.9 billion or more annually due to elder financial abuse and $28.3 billion annually due to financial exploitation, such as the illegal taking, misuse, or concealment of funds, properties, or assets of seniors for another's benefit. And whereas too often elder abuse threatens the livelihoods of older individuals, erodes their extraordinary potential, and increases the risk of death by 300% compared to seniors who have not been mistreated. And whereas Dickinson County's vulnerable and older adults of all social, economic, racial, and ethnic backgrounds may be targets of abuse, neglect, or exploitation, which can occur in families, long-term care communities, and medical settings. And whereas we have a responsibility to support the safety, welfare, and dignity of vulnerable and older adults, and must work towards ending elder abuse by assisting victims in assessing the information and supportive services they need, creating better and more resources for older adults in need, instituting effective intervention and prevention policies, and engaging in discussion with family members and peers to promote awareness and prevention of the quiet epidemic of elder abuse. Now, therefore, the Dickinson County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims June 2026 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month in Saline County, and it urges all citizens to work together to help protect elder adults from abuse, neglect, and exploitation, because it is imperative that we refuse to tolerate the indignity of elder abuse.
You want to update that?
It does say Dickinson County on, I think, the one that you signed.
It does.
It
Okay.
does.
Saline County is your main office.
Yeah, and that's, I think, why she put it.
That's okay.
Couldn't make it. So I.
I'm sure you use the same template I would have. I get it. I get it.
It's in kind of a thinner Saline, so.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions, or do we have a motion?
I didn't realize that the abuse was financial also. I thought,
Yes.
I was thinking it was physical, and it tempers down to financial abuse also.
Yeah, because a lot of them, the credit, they have their debit cards, they have all these things linked up, so they are able to take the money and they don't really look at the statements. They don't look at all these different things. So that money is just getting pocketed. People, the caregivers, the healthcare facility, they pocket that money. And so I know it's a bigger, larger number that I don't think a lot of people realize. And that's again why we're here, spreading that awareness.
Well, thank you for your work. I would move that we go ahead and adopt this proclamation on Elder Abuse Awareness Month.
So moved. I'll second that. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. The ayes have it. We have a signed copy up here. Would you like to take a picture with us?
Want to use my phone?
You probably want it for your record.
Yes.
Perfect. Oh, yeah.
One in there. Like he's handing it to you or something.
There you go. How about
We're
we just
shaking hands.
Here, we can hold this.
We got it.
Yep, I'll take a couple just to be safe. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do.
Yes,
Do
thank
you
you.
need our signed copy?
Yes. I'm just getting started doing this, so the last time I went for Sexual Awareness Month, and it was a lot harder to read.
So
I
I'll
was
give
sitting there,
you
like, I'm reading it over.
a little help. You don't need to read the whereas every time,
Okay,
like we get it.
Yeah.
We know. And then I've just noticed some other people do that. So
yeah, and that's what they said to do, so that's definitely noted. Okay.
You read like, usually that's what it's like, we read the first one and then the rest obviously.
It just goes with it. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, that'll definitely.
It's one word, if I can say.
I gotta go to Ellsworth as well. So that'll be good notation, because I think it's close to the same, but a little bit different. word.
So
So
read it Dickinson County over there, so.
yeah, just what I have. Thank you, guys.
So do you go to the senior centers or
So
more mailings you send out to alert people or?
we have, so everyone's different. So Brandy is the actual elder abuse advocate that's at DVAC. So of course, each person has their own advocacy. So this is her month, but she was like, hey, can you come down and do it? But so she goes to all the different offices and has mail out ballots and does all the different things. And then programs, of course, step through DVAC that help individuals with if they're experiencing this. So it's, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of like, I'm the victim advocate, so all domestic violence, when my month comes, I'll know everything about the month, but then I came with, of course, JMO and them, and they did the, they had the younger,
The teen
the
violence.
teen dating violence, they did that, and that's when I came up with the first one to see kind of what was going on, so I hope I get better at it, and thank you for your time.
You did great. You did great.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You guys
Cameron.
have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and move into a brief public comment period for today's meeting. If County Administrator Janelle Dockendorf would read the rules, please.
For the Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4317 and 75-4318A, as the elected board, the county commission is not allowed to meet or make any decisions without posting the meeting. They are only allowed to act on items on the agenda which they set. During their regular meeting, the county commission may allow for public comments on items not listed on the approved agenda. It is at the discretion of the county commission if they allow comments on agenda items. If you wish to provide comments, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address. If you are online, raise your hand and we will unmute you. Please state your name and address. Each person may speak for 3 minutes. The allotted time will start after the speaker has given his or her name and address. Public comments shall be addressed to the county commission only and not to the speaker or the audience. Only the county commission will be permitted to ask the speaker questions. The public comment period is not a back and forth discussion with the county commission. You should make your views and input known to them, but it is not a time to ask them questions. You should not expect them to respond to your comments. Comments may express support or agreement with the previous speakers, but in the interest of time, please do not repeat the same information. You may state something to the effect of your name and address and you agree with the previous speaker. It is important to maintain a respectful, non-threatening atmosphere for anyone who would like to speak. Please do not engage in such actions as cheering, booing, clapping, insults, threats, etc.
Any public comments at this time? I do not believe we have any at this time. Go ahead and close the public comment period. We'll move on to report from county officers, going back to County Administrator Janelle Dockendorf.
Commissioners, the Public Works Department is replacing a structure at 2497 Fair Road. They started on the 16th. It's going to be closed about a week, and that's part of a tube that collapsed because of the storms. So I know people are not thrilled because of the detour, but we'll get it done as quickly as we can. They've also completed the paving on of Barn Road just south of Solomon. So if you recall, we had that work done. We had the micro surfacing done. We'll bring this paint striper back in at some point and get all those taken care of and get it striped. So KDOT is holding a public meeting tonight between 4 and 6 at the Abilene Community Center, and it's for their K-15 project. And that's a rehabilitation along the east and west portion between K-18 junctions at Lark and Hawk Road. So we'll get some more information. We'll have an unofficial detour route that will be agreement that will be coming back to you at some point when we get that negotiated. So Martin and I are attending the meeting tonight. So the zoning director has a planning and zoning board meeting tonight that he and I will be attending. And the debris cleanup is ongoing, as you heard Chancey this morning. So we're asking all the townships, if you're listening, to make sure that you're tracking and taking pictures and submitting them. And KDM or FEMA has had assistance out there and we'll be more than happy to help you. I do want to clarify a little bit on the debris or on the storms. So tornado sirens are not set off by dispatch unless it's been requested by the city. The county does not own the sirens. Each of the communities own them and they make that request. I will say that we are.
Fire chief, correct?
Or the fire chief, yes, yeah. So I will say that it is going to be a topic of discussion at the 911 advisory board, how that process works. I know that there was a lot of confusion. I will also say that we had a lot of calls that came into dispatch in particular, and they were not very nice calls. Unfortunately, they got called names, and I think that was uncalled for when you're attacking our employees because you don't like how something is handled. I'll stop there, but I appreciate the comments that were made earlier about the work that our staff has done on the debris. And I would ask people to keep in mind that there's a lot going on in a disaster and we're working as hard as we can. Just an update as well.
I'm going to add real quick on that too, on the calls. Most people have something on their cell phone that gives them an alert. And you can also look ahead, but all things considered, if a situation that you think takes drastic measures for safety, sometimes you just have to decide what to do.
Correct.
And I know people downtown Abilene, for example, many of the businesses convey to their employees, and you would the same thing here. If you aren't going to be safe in this building, of course, this is a safe building.
Right.
But if you need to go somewhere or do something, or have children at a daycare or something.
Exactly.
You need to kind of make the call on your own within reason and just use your best judgment. And so regardless of the siren, once the wind starts blowing and once the alerts have gone off on the phone,
right,
and you know anticipated weather,
Mhm.
you know, I think some responsibility individually is reasonable.
Appreciate that. So just another update for you, the KDHE permit at the transfer station has been updated. So when we handle trash, the doors are supposed to be closed. Well, that wind whipping through has damaged the doors yet again. So we have made a request to KDHE that we do not have to close the doors as long as we keep the floor clean for trash. And they were happy to do that for us. So that's, at minimum, those doors are $60,000. So this eliminates that cost for us, which is a good thing. And just as a, no,
How did the door get ripped off if we do it?
so there's a door here on the north side and then the other door on the south side. If they're both open, or if one is open and the other one's closed, it's whipping through. And because of the way the trailer is placed there on the north side, they can't close the door.
There you go. That's the question.
Yep. So it's.
I was gonna be like, why didn't we close the door?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So because of the trailer. So, and that's part of the discussion that we'll have as we're moving through figuring out the best way to handle our solid waste in the upcoming years. So, no.
Thank you.
District offices will be closed tomorrow and observation of Juneteenth, National Independence Day. So just as a reminder. If you have any questions for me? Blah, that was a lot.
Thank you. I'm gonna ditto what he said. I would say, sorry on behalf for the dispatch. They didn't deserve that.
I appreciate that. So.
All right. Notice, no county council today. Noticing communications, County Clerk Jennifer Gaten.
I don't have anything this week.
Thank you. Moving on to other business, we have the request to vacate portion of Solomon Road between 3100 Avenue and 3200 Avenue in Florida. I gave you the motion. If you want to, I don't think I could move being the chair.
No, you can, but I'll go ahead and do that. So we do have this request, so I would move that the Board of County Commissioners of Dickinson County, Kansas, upon request of Flora Township, hereby set a public hearing to consider the proposed vacation of the following county/township road. And this public hearing will be on July 23rd at 11:05 a.m. here in the commission meeting room at the courthouse here at Dickinson County, Kansas. And this motion is made pursuant to KSA 68-114 and related applicable Kansas road vacation procedures, and directs county staff to provide and publish notice of the public hearing as required by law.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
Ron seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Opposed, same side. Ayes have it. I'm sorry, I didn't think I could move.
You can make a motion, but,
Yeah,
or second,
or a second.
I know I can second it, but
Yeah, but no, I think you can make a motion with no.
especially if there's only two of us here.
Exactly. So, and I will just let you
must be
know
confusing that and EDC, but anyway.
that Martin and I will be attending the Ottawa County Commission meeting on Monday and talking with them since this is actually on the county line there between Ottawa and us.
Okay.
So, and we'll get that moving forward. So,
And I'll mention, typically, we don't read it in such detail, but our attorney advised us, and just for clarification, there's no misunderstanding that the meeting's here and what statute it relates to and so on. We're just being more specific. So it's meant to be helpful. But it's, anyway, that's the new approach.
Thank you, Lynn. Sorry to make you read it. I didn't think I could do it.
No, that's fine.
Moving on to the next agenda item, we have consideration agreement of Cobb Valley Engineering for professional engineering services on safe streets for all. I think after reading it, it was out of pocket expense of like 12 grand.
yes.
And we already approved this technically.
You did. Actually, this is coming from 2024 and a funding request that we made for the Safe Streets for All project. So what they'll do is go through and put all the information together, provide maps, a place for a place for citizens to vote, if you will, things like that as we move down this project. So this is just second step in a long process for this grant program that we're gonna utilize, so.
Commissioners, any questions?
Questions?
Well, here, then. I move that we approve the agreement with Cobb Valley Engineering for Safe Streets for All Engineering.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Ayes, maybe I should say yay. Okay. I believe that concludes our business for today. Is there anything else we want to discuss, commissioners? Hearing none, I would motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Or
That was-
you made the motion.
I made the
Second,
second.
actually.
I was
Okay.
thinking
I'll
of
be
the second.
second,
Okay.
Get it again.
Oh, yeah. That was a quick one.
Is there